Welcome in to a Monday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered here by Go Chevrolet. Make sure and check our friends out online at GEAUXChevrolet.com. Go Chevrolet with 2 locations, LaPlace, Louisiana for brand new cars, and over here in Baton Rouge at Go Express Auto Sales for a used car selection. Great used car selection at Go Express Auto Sales. Jump inside the bunker. There are a lot of you waiting here this morning.
I'm like more than ever on a Monday
everybody's
morning.
Fired up that the LSU women got the 3 seed, huh?
That's what
Deshaun Watson to New Orleans. Huge news. We got a lot to get to. Tom Brady's coming back. LSU Basketball gets the 6th seed. Tigers going to open up in Iowa State as they are a part of the Midwest region. We will also talk to Ross Dellinger coming up here at 8 o'clock this morning from Sports Illustrated, as we will discuss, like we did on Saturday, again here this morning, the huge news of the weekend, Will Wade terminated by LSU. We'll get to it and all of your comments here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Make sure you hit that like button, share button, comment button, share, interact with us here on this Monday. We appreciate you starting your week with us here. As we said, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. We're also daily brought to you by True Blue Water. TRUBluewater.com is how you get on the delivery route. We can also thank Metropolitan Health Group for our phone line sponsor. Remember, Real Doctors, Real Solutions with Metropolitan Health Group with Jason Ramazan and Charlie Harvey. All right, lots to get to. Katie is here. The Carpool Queen is here on a Monday morning. Stewie is here on a Monday. And Lizzie, as we come after a weekend full of content. Thank you for joining us on Saturday. The Clout Demons on Sunday night had a good showing, over 1,100 views already for the boys.
There you go, boys.
Hell of a job. But
just keep working.
News on Saturday. It was a tough Saturday.
It was. We figured out a whole new way to get to the people. We were like, yo, should we go live? I was like, I still have all that shit in my car. He was like, we should try Twitter Spaces.
Twitter Squares?
Yeah, Twitter Squares. That's what we decided it was. But
why?
Because we didn't know the name of it. We're like, do the Twitter thing. So we did that.
Sort of thing.
Yeah.
The tweeter.
The tweeter. So it was a good little avenue for us
great.
that we stumbled upon, because I still had all the stuff from the live show we didn't do.
Yeah.
So let's get into it, right? So LSU baseball erupts over the weekend as they take 3 from Bethune-Cookman. They'll open up SEC play with Texas A&M this weekend. Texas A&M, a huge snub on the field of 68 after they make the championship game in the SEC tournament. I thought even Tennessee was a little undervalued at a 3 seed after the last couple of weeks and what they've been doing. But Texas A&M won 7 straight going into the tournament. They got beat yesterday in the championship game in the Southeastern Conference championship of the tournament, and was left out of the field of 68. Tough for Buzz Williams. In fact, we've seen his names kind of start to populate around some of the early coaching searches and vacancies here for LSU. I think it's a little bit of a Jimbo Fisher appeal for the name. Obviously, that's the last basketball coach that Scott Woodward has hired in Buzz Williams, as he's now over at Texas A&M, so you've seen his name pop up on some early lists here early on. But
I feel like it's too soon.
Very much.
I know it's not. I mean, you have to do.
Well,
this,
I think you got to get
you got
to get through the next week before stuff will really start to come to the public. But let's start there. Obviously, the news on Saturday: Will Wade fired by LSU. This happened early Saturday morning, as Wade and the crew made their way back from Tampa from the SEC basketball tournament after losing against Arkansas on Friday. And I'll say this, I had no idea that was going to happen going into the weekend, but I did, while watching that Arkansas game, think to myself, as somebody who knows Wade, and, we've all watched him coach and his demeanor on the sidelines over the last 5 years, and at times he's become very emotional, but I thought on Friday, his emotions really kind of got the best of him. The technical foul right before halftime is obvious, but even the way that he addressed his team on the floor going into the intermission, and then there was an episode after the game where some of the SEC administrators and some of the officials, kind of the director officials within the league, was sitting courtside, and he kind of ran over to him and was pointing his finger and barking at him from people that I had talked to there. And it just looked like he either knew something was on its way or he was just coaching in a very uncomfortable spot. That was just my point of view of watching the team play and watching Wade through my television on Friday versus Arkansas. And to see the news roll across the wire on been guilty from day one. I think even to that crowd, it was shocking to see that the plug had been pulled at this point in the schedule on Wade. And the first thing I thought when I saw the news is that there's either something in there that's very serious that we didn't know, or the notice of allegations and what's been proven on football is either more serious than we thought. And after having a chance to read the report, the thing is that, in my opinion, it's the new stuff that they found on basketball. And having a chance to talk to some people in and around LSU over the last 48 hours, I think the part that really got Scott Woodward, the part that really made this decision not easy, but had to happen, was the fact that there was a violation on the record in 2020. Things that were while Scott Woodward was on campus. Because everything that was being debated and everything that was being discussed that we thought was on Joe Oliva's watch and was prior to Scott Woodward getting the job. And talking to some people within the LSU administration or around the administration, that was something that really stood out and expedited this decision for the LSU brass. And, from Wade's point of view, he is a friend that really allowed a lot of access for our show and allowed for me personally. And it's hard to see a friend go through something that I can relate to. Losing a job that you really love. I had the same thing happen to me over a year ago where, I had a relationship and a job that I was really in love with come to a sudden end. And the early onset shock of that it's like a dream. It's like you're not even walking. You're not even living in the present. It's like when you wake up, you want to go straight back to sleep. And I think that's where, Wade kind of is right now, because one thing that we can debate, and we'll get all into it. Is that nobody that LSU brings in or that has had this job is as passionate and loves LSU basketball like Wade did. He absolutely was in love with the program, the fan base, the conference, the rivalries, the battles, the competition, all of it. And he wanted more of it. He wanted better players, better facilities. He wanted more wins. He wanted to become nationally relevant. And I think for that attitude, that was very endearing to the fan base. That was endearing to somebody like me who covered it and really was waiting on somebody to poke the giant and wake him up again. Because I've had a front row seat of seeing what the impact of an LSU basketball, a good LSU basketball program, can be. And I've always wanted that back since Brady left. And with Wade, you felt like, wow, it's coming back because he wants it. And he's in love with it. And he's not going to sleep until it happens. And I'll always love that and remember that for while Wade was in power for LSU basketball. But the one thing that you can't deny And the one thing that, throughout this process has been a really good learning lesson for me in this show is that you have to stay objective in the sense of you have to be able to give the viewers, the listeners, the opinion based on what's going on in the evaluation of the facts. And once the facts came out and we were all able to read it, there's no way you can excuse how sloppy that was and how egregious and really arrogant, very arrogant. Because in the day and time in which that was being evaluated, that stuff was still, that was voodoo, man, in college basketball and college sports. And maybe today, now with NIL stuff and the forgiveness of the last 4 years of people just really recognizing, come on, nobody really cares if people are paying the players. Isn't this happening anyway? We've always thought that. But if direct transactions are happening from the head coach to players' girlfriends, fiancés, and it's happening routinely, this can't happen. And from Scott Woodward's point of view, and what the state has entrusted Scott Woodward to do is protect the LSU athletic program, I think that the decision that was made, while Will Wade is a friend, I appreciate him, I care about him, I want him to be successful, I think that Scott Woodward's decision on Saturday morning was fairly easy in the sense of not the emotion of it, not the direct personal tie to it, but just the breakdown from Wade in the blatant rule breaking and LSU standing by and trying to take up and waiting for all things to come out. And once served those allegations and once the stuff was proven, it had become too much. And when you step back and you look at it objectively, which is hard for me to do, admittedly, but have to get to a place where you have to do that, it's a fairly easy decision that Scott Woodward and his trusted team got to on Saturday morning to let him go. Because some of the stuff that you read that was happening, it just can't happen. And like I said, talking to some people within that team, the fact that there's a violation on there in 2020, which was, after Scott Woodward got here, and there was very much a clear understanding of how business was going to operate while Woodward was in control and while Wade was coaching the basketball program. And when that violation was proven, it was over. And it was over in a snap. And, like I said, from a friend, it sucks. But somebody who is here to be and has lost sight of that, had lost sight of that, and a great learning lesson, like I said, that we'll own and try and be better moving forward, having to stay objective. But the objective point of view of this is that it was an easy decision. And that sucks to say, because I don't know if LSU will ever find a coach that loves the program and wanted the program to succeed more than Will Wade did. The guy was so invested in it, no pun intended. But he was consumed by it. He didn't want to sleep. He didn't He didn't want to think about anything else. And I know that the goons are out, man. And I've seen my inbox. And I've seen my mentions, and I get it. I understand. Easy target. But they had the guy. They had the guy to get LSU basketball to the promised land. Did he do it with some venom and poison that's come out now? Undoubtedly. And my theory last week of Wade might be the sacrificial lamb to save football, while I still believe that to be true, I don't think that that's the case. All in all, my evaluation or analysis of what's going on with the LSU athletic program and LSU basketball intently is that once those FBI tapes, once those tapes surfaced and they had Wade speaking that arrogantly on cell phone that was wiretapped, again, very sloppy, the NCAA was not going to rest until they ran Wade. That was too embarrassing to them. I've talked to people here in town who were interviewed by the NCAA. They were so embarrassed that they admitted it. They were telling people that they were talking to and people that they were interviewing for this case. Wade has been victory lapping us for years. They wanted him. After that wiretap, they weren't going to sleep until they had him. So they crawled up everybody and they got information. They got people to talk. They got text messages. They got dialogue. They got bank accounts. They got all types of stuff that puts the smoking gun in Wade's hand. Things that are indefensible. Things, if you're Scott Woodward, you look at him and you say, Will, I love you. I know that you care about LSU and want us to win. But with this stuff being proven, there's no way that you can be employed here. And I think that's what it was like, because I think Scott Woodward, he didn't want to mess with basketball. He wanted to hire a basketball coach. Because Scott Woodward, at the end of the day, what he's looking for, his prerequisite for all these positions is win. Win. And basketball was winning under Wade. So if they could get past this NCAA stuff, and it was just the stuff that happened prior to Woodward getting here, and it was stuff that they could take care of, and there was no new news or anything that had been proven, and especially anything that had happened post Woodward being on campus, then they'll fight through it and maybe be okay. But when the allegations, the notice comes back from the IROP or whatever, and it's dropped on LSU's desk, and it has claims that's proven in there of cash transactions coming out of the head coach's joint bank account with the wife going to a fiance, and the assistant coach promising payments on the road to a recruit in 2020. It just got to a point for Woodward and now Dr. William Tate, who's the president, that they said, it's our job to protect the university. At what point are we being insubordinate by allowing this to happen? And it's a fair question. So it sucks for our friend. It sucks for a guy that loves LSU basketball. But for the trouble that LSU's athletic program is staring in the face, I do believe that the move was made on Saturday to kind of serve up and say, hey, look, LSU's trying to take the right steps and to clean this stuff up. And that's where it is with Wade.
What will the ramifications be for the program? I mean, I'm sure they'll have, postseason penalties, but how severe do you think those will be at this point? I
think that what LSU's trying to do is they're trying to relieve themselves by serving. I thought it was, I thought immediately when the news hit on Saturday, we got on Twitter Squares.
Spaces.
And I thought that they would self-penalize the tournament. Mm-hmm. Because I think that they were just trying to get out in front of just saying, look, we're taking the necessary steps to show that they are cleaning up the program by moving on from Wade, sacrificing postseason. Now, it doesn't look like they're going to do that. In fact, I saw Scott Rabelais wrote yesterday that LSU is moving forward. And I think that if they weren't, you would have already heard a statement to say that they weren't. They would have had to notify the NCAA or notify Iowa State or let the people know that, hey, look, they're not playing. Mm-hmm. So it looks like they are going to play. But I thought that they were going to self-impose and try and show that they're taking even more steps of penalizing themselves. Now, they bowl banned themselves in 2020 in football, which was pretty easy to do. They docked themselves a couple of scholarships. I'd expect them to do the same in basketball because there's about to be an enormous turnover in commitments and roster. So there'll be, scholarships to withhold. Obviously, moving on from Wade, I think that they're trying to show that they're taking the steps. What that does to the ramifications and what it does for the conclusion of this, it's hard for me to really figure because, lack of institutional control is the absolute worst term from the NCAA to a school. And LSU has had it deemed both in football and basketball for over a 10-year stretch.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
We discussed last night what lack of institutional control is. And it's just it's pretty much like the NCAA. If you look it up, it's just them putting in words, pretty much. It's crazy.
The vague term of them being able to run up in your athletic office and see that you got a couple of things out of place and saying, you know what? Y'all don't have any idea what's going on here. We're about to step in and govern you. We're about to take control of you. Now, this whole puzzle piece is kind of like, you can kind of see it coming together. The whole puzzle's kind of coming together. I got to imagine the group of boosters that set out to go get Scott Woodward and bring him to Baton Rouge knew that something was on the horizon, maybe not to the weight and the scope of what it is, of LSU football and basketball, both being in the crosshairs and both being deemed, having no institutional control or lack of institutional control. I got to imagine that Woodward's political relationships or just relationships in general with the NCAA office, most notably Mark Emmert, had to be one of the reasons that he was so feverishly recruited by some of the top money guys and money people in LSU's alumni and boosters. They had to know that, look, when this stuff hits the fan, it could potentially get really bad for LSU. So what's the best way to have some relief built into the NCAA? Because if you'd have had Joe Oliva and F. King Alexander trying to negotiate through this, LSU would have been thrown back into the Stone Ages. But if you have Dr. William Tate and Scott Woodward, who have working relationships with those executives in Indianapolis, maybe these conversations can happen a little more off the record than on the record, and things can be figured out on how to best serve this from a ease standpoint. Like, you don't have to come in here with an iron fist and, take away 25 scholarships like you did to USC and their football program a couple of years back. You don't have to come in here and throw the basketball program back, a decade and a half for some of the stuff that they're looking at. How do you soften the blow from LSU's standpoint? And I think from a personnel standpoint, with Woodward in control and Dr. Tate in control, they're best suited there to have those conversations. Can the NCAA still come in? I was talking to an administrator yesterday. I said, man, can they still do all this? They still have this power? And he fired back at me, Jordy, F yeah, he does. F yeah, they do. Are you crazy? You all just stand out there and bark into your microphone, and the ticket buyers just think that we can, run away from the NCAA. That's their governing body. And they're still under that control. I mean, they still oversee a lot of how that office operates. And I discounted that. I thought you could kind of moon them. You know what I mean? Really and truly, you could kind of just say, get out of here. A lot like Kansas did. But the difference between Kansas and LSU, even though Bill Self is texting Merle Code, the money guy, Gaddis, asking, we all good? They have those text messages. They don't have the transactions coming from Self's checking account to the player or somebody around the player. It's going from somebody in the middle to that player, but the player knows it's coming from Self in Kansas. But if they ask Self in Kansas about it, they say, well, we can't control who's paying players from a third party. Well, we have text messages asking if you were confirming if the money had landed. I don't know what you're talking about. It wasn't me. I didn't send that text message. Well, it came from your phone. I don't know. I'm not in full control of my phone all the time. Somebody might have said that. It wasn't me. You know, NCAA. Now Merle Code's in jail from Adidas. Gaddis is in jail. Will Wade's got direct transaction coming from a joint bank account that he shares with his spouse. It's going to a former player's fiance. What? There's no middleman? No. We have to fire you. I mean, it's just sucks.
Well, that would be my question to you: is why you've seen the way that these have been set up before, especially if you're Will Wade. Why did he do it a different way? Why didn't he stick to the protocol that is in place but not in place for being a head coach and wanting to get good players?
It's a great question. I think at the end of it, man, I mean, I'm just coming out of my 30s, and I think, and I hope, and I pray that the personality trait that I can leave in 30 is arrogance. And I think that Will Wade was mid-30s playing in a big boys game, and he was having success. And you do that in your mid-30s, and you make some noise, and you already got a little confidence behind you. You already got a little swagger to you. You start having a little success, that arrogance starts to...
I'm doing it the right way, my way.
Bubble a little bit. They're not going to catch me. Even if they do, I got the right lawyer in place. He's going to get me out of it. That's my personal opinion. I don't know that, but I can relate to that. I know when I look back at some of the things that I did mid-30s, late 30s, thinking, geez, how embarrassing. Why did I do that? Because I was so damn arrogant. And I still have to shake some of that, but I think that in looking at Wade and just the way that he was operating, it was so...
Come get me.
It was like that.
It was all on him, though. He put it all on him.
He did.
And that, if you know him, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it does. I mean, and why did he say last week, why was he like almost eager to comment? Like, why say that if you know what's happening? That's what's been like going through my mind again.
Oh, but him saying like, oh, yeah, I'm looking forward to be able to comment on this.
Yes. Like, where was his head when he was saying that?
Still not going to get caught?
I mean, really? I guess. That's the only explanation.
And if they win against Arkansas, do you think that he still gets fired? Or do you think they wait for the SEC tournament to be over? Or does they say, no, we're pulling the cord immediately?
Say it again.
What do you mean? Does he still get fired?
If LSU had won and was playing in the SEC tournament championship, would he still have been fired on Saturday?
Yeah.
Or would you have, okay.
No, I think he was...
Had to, right?
Didn't matter. I mean, if he was fired in this position like he was Saturday morning, it was the next free moment they had, they were going to get him. I mean, it was just... It was like that.
It was time.
It was like that.
God, it's just confusing.
What's confusing?
I don't know. I can't believe it. I guess is what I mean.
You're just shocked.
Yeah,
it's a shock. It's still very much
like
shocking.
his reaction is confusing. I guess to me is what I mean by that.
I still think it was what we just talked about 2 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Still just kind of
I
like.
know.
Well thought.
Yeah. Go Flow IV, GEAUX, flowiv.com is where you find them online. Remember, they recommend you get an appointment today, and the easiest way to do that is by logging online to GEAUX, flowiv.com. Go Flow IV is located on Jefferson Highway, 7970 Jefferson Highway. Needing some energy from after the weekend, still down and out after some of the news of the weekend that you heard, or if you're looking to get right starting the week, or just you've been sick. You're an athlete, you're looking to uptick your performance, get over to GoFlow. GEAUX, flowiv.com. GoFlowIV.com is where you find them online. And they're located on Jefferson Highway. They accept memberships if you're interested in that 3-month, 6-month, annual memberships. It's Baton Rouge's premier medical spa, specializing in IV hydration treatments with vitamin infusion. Find them online at GoFlowIV.com. That is GEAUX, flowiv.com. They also have a promo code over there. If you mention the Jordy Culotta Show, all you got to do is just bring us up. They'll take 15% off of your initial visit over there. Your first visit, they'll take 15% with the Jordy Culotta Show promo code over there. We'll get to some of your comments here on this Monday. We will also talk to Ross Dellinger coming up here at 8 o'clock this morning. And get the latest from Delly as SI was on this from the jump.
Congratulations, Pat. You did it.
The Pirate. Jordy, the only reason I was hammered because
Pulitzer.
every time I ask you about the tilted offer, you made jokes about it.
I think he meant hammering you when he was hammering you.
Donnie T. Wade knew that they had him and he should have resigned 3 years ago. Hughes Bowden, did Wade do anything besides pay players? If not, I don't care. High school football just signed an $8 million deal.
No name on that player, though. On the high school player. Just a high school. It was just like The Athletic reported it. Just a high school player.
Just a high school player.
Yes, unnamed, signed an $8 million NIL deal.
Arch Manning.
What? Probably.
Or one of those California
Allegedly.
quarterbacks.
Will Joseph, the NCAA said their investigation on these schools have not concluded, and the school got that, not the individual coaches. Brian Burgess, after everything that has come out, I don't understand how people can still defend Wade, because people like a winner, Brian. And basketball coaches, whether you like it or don't like it, have never played by the rules. Look at Mike Krzyzewski on the way out. Look how perturbed and aggravated he is on the way out. Cutting his players off at a post-game press conference on Saturday. Cutting the crowd off after the last loss at home versus North Carolina. Krzyzewski's been doing this for years. Years. Pat Forty, who is obviously victory lapping this morning and loving life, wrote a great article about the FBI investigation and dug into some of the Duke relationships. This came back out, I believe, on February 12th. You can find it at si.com under some of Pat Forty's articles, but it goes into, this stuff has been happening for years. Rick Pitino's first job in college basketball was in 1974 at Hawaii. He was fired from that job for paying a high school player in an AAU gym. Guy's been cheating since day one. It's just, this sport has been run like that. And when LSU got one that understood how to play the game and how to make basketball relevant, the fan base fell in love with that. That's what they're defending, is that he was just trying to level the playing field. He looked at the way that those guys were getting players. Bill Self is on text messaging asking his bag man if the money had landed. Bill Self was the first coach that CBS interviewed yesterday on the bracket announcement show. A day after Wade is fired, they're celebrating Self's number one seed. Look at that. And I get it. Wade was egregious. He was dumb. He was sloppy in the way that he did it. But he's not doing anything that those other guys aren't doing. especially the ones that are getting into the tournament and being competitive and trying to play for national championships, somewhere along the way on their roster, somebody's poisoned. Somebody's dirty. I mean, Brian, it was proven that Creighton was paying players $100,000. When's the last time you heard anything from Creighton? And by the way, I've seen Doug McDermott's name pop up on some short lists of guys that LSU may be interested in. Who are they going to get? Who doesn't cheat? We've said it time and time again. Trent Johnson is the best example I can get you of coaches that play by the letter of the law. Trent Johnson went 0 in the league and had band members trying out to start and play. That's what basketball looks like if you're not playing the game. And Wade had seen the game played when he was a young assistant. And he said, this is how I'm going to play it when I get my chance. And he was just too brazen. And he got to the party too early and pissed off some of the old heads. And the NCAA, he embarrassed them. And they weren't going to stop until he got him. Till they got him. And they got him. But it's very easy to me to understand why the LSU fan base is going to miss him and why people are defending him. He loved LSU. He loved the program. He wanted to win. He paid players. I understand why you're mad at him this morning by saying, how did this happen? Why are you gone? Why are you not here? But you're pissed that he blew the opportunity, that he's not going to be your coach. I mean, I'm telling you, it will be nearly impossible to find anyone, whether the guy is next or he's 3 coaches from now, that gives a damn like Wade gave about LSU basketball over the last 5 years. He cared like you care. He wants it to be a winner and knows it can be like you do. And he was getting 5 stars every single year to pay attention and get into the program.
It's one more year.
Oh, man. You were on the doorstep.
I know.
You were on the doorstep.
And you could have
the best roster that LSU's had in a long time. Long time.
Get him after that. Come on. He deserves as much as one more year with all of the cheating just right in front of you. Look how good this team is.
Let him cheat.
Let him go. Then get him. But do you think that, obviously we don't know what the penalties or like the sanctions are going to be against LSU, but do you think that they put like almost a stopgap coach in place where it's, all right, you got to ride out these sanctions. You're not going to be the guy, almost like Ole Miss did before they got Lane Kiffin.
Lane Kiffin to Ole Miss?
Right. Like, but who was the guy before that that was like an Ole Miss guy?
Oh, yeah, Matt Rule?
No, it wasn't Matt Rule.
No, Matt Luke. Matt Luke.
Where he knew he wasn't going to be the Ole Miss head coach forever. It was just while they rode out the Hugh Freeze era, that the wake that he left behind, they're like, hey, you fell in for the job, but we're going to go get a real coach once all these sanctions are gone.
I mean, they wanted to win. You know?
No, I'm saying in the future. Like, as of now, does LSU go get a stopgap coach that he knows he's not really the answer, but somebody that, I'll coach the program, I'll baby it, and then whenever it's time that LSU is back in full force.
I don't, I look at the LSU job, the LSU basketball job a couple of ways. First off, I don't know if Scott Woodward can operate like that. I think he's going to go in and try to find this one time. Like, he's going to try to find the guy, and one thing that we know is going to happen is that he's going to pay him. Money is not going to be an issue. If it comes down to money, LSU's going to be fine. They have a war chest somewhere that Woodward has stocked up that money ain't the issue.
And you don't have to pay Wade.
Right? Yeah. And you don't have to pay Wade.
But you should.
So you can, one of two ways, right? Like, you can go to somebody and say, here is the security. Here's the financial security, job security. A lot like you did to Brian Kelly. Here's a decade, right? Here's $100 million. Here's what you want back in return. You've got the security. Nobody's going to move on you. And you go get somebody who can buy into that. Or, do you just go full rogue? Bring like Patino in or Kelvin Sampson.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Somebody's going to do it. Georgia has no clue what they're looking for in basketball. I mean, to hire Mike White after what Mike White's done the last 7 seasons at Florida, where it's been a roller coaster of a ride. But I mean, Mike White looks at Georgia and says, hey, if I go to the tournament every 3 years, y'all might build a statue of me in Athens. I'm ducking out of here in Florida before y'all fire me. So now the Florida job's open. LSU job is open. I mean, somebody's going to jump on,
Florida hires Will Wade.
Kelvin Sampson type name. You know what I mean? If I was making this hire, I would look at Kelvin Sampson and say, man, I mean, the guy's won everywhere he's been. But then the other side of the table would be like, yeah, but he's got all these red flags on his status from cheating everywhere he's been. Well, I'm like, what's it gonna be?
All of them have it.
Yeah. What do you want it to be? What are you looking for in the next hire? I mean, do you want to be relevant as far as on the floor and be winning? Or do you want to be one of the only teams in the pack that's playing by the rules
and getting left behind by the pack?
Exactly.
I mean, lapped.
There's no way to do it.
Lapped.
The safe way. There's just no world where you can go to a table for. I mean, obviously, all about basketball is all about getting good recruits. Mm-hmm. There's no way you can play the game without playing the game.
Right.
Like, well, he's offering me $100,000. Like, well, we have a great scholarship in Tops at LSU. Like, fuck off. Like, are you kidding me?
Get that stipend.
Yeah.
Did y'all read 40's article from Saturday?
No.
Like, how long do you think he's had that headline waiting?
No, he probably wrote it in cursive.
Oh my gosh. I mean, it's rough.
He made a career out of that.
It's
like
right. Yeah,
he can retire now. Like he could go to the beach. He could do whatever he wants now. He could just chill.
This
like
thing is
he's
framed in his office.
He had
for sure.
this article written. Yeah. He was ready.
Like he took his degree down and put the article.
This is more important, actually.
This is way better.
It's
taped
rough.
over his marriage.
Yeah, he got off on this.
Some people have asked for names here early on in the process. One of the names that I have
like new coaching
been on,
names?
on who it could be. Porter Moser at Oklahoma, a guy who had a lot of success at Loyola Chicago, brought them to a Final Four in 2018. To me, is a very good coach. I've seen names like Brad Underwood, who's at Illinois. He's bringing Illinois back to the tournament. Tony Bennett is at Virginia. Bennett is actually married to a Baton Rouge native. His wife is from Baton Rouge.
Boring brand of basketball in the world.
The most boring brand of basketball that you could ever find.
I mean, that's what you need.
Missionary basketball.
All day. Back to the tidy whities.
Yeah, this is going to be slow and you're going to hate it.
You want to do missionary?
Yeah.
Snapping the elastic on your tidy whities before you walk into the PMAC to watch a game.
Please don't smoke that in here.
God, dude. Tony Bennett, while he is a fantastic coach, a national championship winning coach, he does have ties to Baton Rouge. Like I said, his wife being from here. Please, God, no. I mean, just be like watching grass grow. It'd be like watching ice melt.
And then you have to try to embrace it. Like, hell yeah, this is LSU basketball.
And I think, it's a different type of athlete that you recruit to the University of Virginia to play basketball.
White.
And no, it's not at all. No, it's not. I mean, I'm not saying that by any means, but it's a different approach to recruiting in the SEC than it is to the ACC, especially in Virginia. At Virginia, where you've got those types of academic requirements, you're looking for a totally different athlete. You're looking for a totally different style of player. And I know that you don't always want to look for a fit but to me, Tony Bennett would be square into a.
And the funny thing is, we're talking about him like he's a bad coach. He's got a national championship on his resume.
Very, very good coach.
Absolutely,
very good coach. But I think his fit at Virginia is perfect.
Right.
I mean, it is absolutely perfect. I said this, look, and I got hammered on this again. You know what I mean? Like,
just by
no means do I believe that Brad Stevens is going to be the next head coach at LSU. I don't foresee that. But I do know that Scott Woodward is in control of making this decision, and I know that Stevens was run off the sidelines by the players. They didn't really vibe with him holding them as accountable as Stevens did and coaching them up like he did for the Celtics. And now he's in a very plush, high-paying Boston Celtics director of president of basketball operations gig. I mean, that has got to be one of the most one of the most wanted titles in basketball. I mean, the president of the Celtics. You know what I mean? Like, hey, Brad, you want to give that up to coach LSU basketball? Yeah, I mean, like, that doesn't make a lot of sense. But maybe Brad Stevens, who's still pretty young, I think mid-40s, right? Had a ton of success in college basketball. Talk about get back down to the grassroots of it from Stevens' standpoint. Get back to, really developing, teaching, coaching, and a hell of a challenge, right? A program that has been to a couple of Final Fours, has experienced success, but never consistently. I mean, you want a challenge in basketball? Come make LSU hoop a consistent winner off of sanctions and on probation, potentially. But here's $100 million, decade, whatever you need, facilities. I mean, could you imagine Kim Mulkey and Brad Stevens on the fundraising tour? I mean, we need a new arena. Bam, there you go. I mean, whatever they wanted, they would get. And I'm just saying that Woodward's the one doing the hunting here. You know what I mean? Like, I would imagine that if he's not scared to call Brad Stevens and ask him, and that's fine. Brad, it might be as simple as, Scott, are you crazy? Hell no, I'm not leaving Boston to come to Baton Rouge. Okay, well, I had to call. I mean, I didn't know if you ever wanted to get back into college basketball again. No, I don't. Thank you for calling, though. Okay, now we know.
You think Will Wade wants a job in Boston? He'd probably flip the conversation around. Like, actually, right. I'm interested in Will Wade.
Yeah. I don't know, man. There's a lot of good coaches out there. I mean, look around the SEC.
I know. Is it better to get one of the two SEC coaches up for grabs to come in?
Who?
Like Mike White and Buzz Williams?
White's done. I mean, he's at Georgia.
Green's done.
So is it better to get someone with experience in
who I would get out of the SEC? If I was picking one of the 14 coaches, or I guess there's an open job now. So what is there? 12? There's 2 open jobs. LSU and Florida are open. So you've got 12 coaches in place right now. Of the 12, the one that's been most impressive to me, Jerry Stackhouse, Vanderbilt. I mean, like, the way his teams play and how well coached they are is very impressive. I mean, and I'm not even saying that he's playing with an inferior athlete or player. I mean, he's got really good players. And he's done a tremendous job, in my opinion, of just watching that he's as good as you'll find in this league, in my opinion. RMB Builders brings you the Jordy Culotta Show. Remember, rmb-builders.com. Rhett Bourgeois and the crew. Scott Oldham says Bruce Pearl. Yeah, saw that.
What?
But remember, over at RMB, they can build you a custom design home. They can help you out with any type of refurbishment that you need done around the office. They also have commercial license over at RMB. So don't forget about them over at RMB Builders. rmb-builders.com. Discover homes with quality and excellent design from our friend Rhett Bourgeois and his crew right now. Very busy. Get in touch with them. They do fantastic work. rmb-builders.com. And all of our podcast is brought back to you by RMB and Rhett Bourgeois and the crew over there.
There's another SEC opening in basketball coaching.
Mississippi State? Ben Howland's out?
Yeah. Thank God.
When?
Love him. Yesterday.
Damn.
I know. It needed to happen.
I mean, really, Mississippi State's a sneaky good job.
I know, but they need another
coach.
But
that's where I would hire Rick Pitino. You know what I mean?
Oh,
that's where I would hire Kelvin Sampson. That's where I would hire somebody that, what are you going to sell? It's like Ole Miss football.
Well, it's like LSU basketball.
It's like LSU. It's exactly like LSU basketball. We can try this thing with Trent Johnson if you want, but does the program have the cachet and the attraction to pull people in unless you got somebody out there waving the flag and maybe pushing the limit a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I know Ole Miss football done, and they said, you got to go hire Lane Kiffin. Mississippi State basketball can't win with Ben Howland. He's way too boring.
He is.
You know what I mean? Like, you got to have somebody out there that's kind of like, you need Jackie Sherrill. Like Mississippi State football at the time. Like that would, to me, Mississippi State basketball needs their Jackie Sherrill. And look at Rick Pitino up there at Iona with a back tat and everything. Still eating the gravy.
Making the gravy.
I still think LSU is they're in a place where they're at a fork. You know what I mean? Like, do you want to go back to Johnson? Do you want to go back to the guy that's going to abide? Because I mean, even in an NIL world, the NCAA still has their rule book. And obviously now LSU is going to be playing under a certain set of rules with whatever comes down from all of this shaking out. So, I mean,
that's best case scenario for LSU, right? You go get Rick Pitino, and he's
Dude,
just like, "Oh, you thought well, one middle finger wasn't enough. Here's two."
Call an ambulance.
Yeah,
but not for me.
All right, we're going to talk to Ross Dellinger coming up here in a couple of minutes. Don't forget to hit that like button, that share button. We appreciate that very much. Make sure and comment or subscribe if you have not subscribed to the Jordy Culotta Show. Please hit that subscription button and hit that bell, as we'll be back with you. And you'll know when we come back with the notification of when the content goes live. We'll talk to Ross Dellinger coming up here in a couple of minutes as we'll get the latest on this college basketball investigation. We'll ask him from the standpoint of, from somebody who has investigated this, what's the difference between, LSU's standpoint and Kansas with Bill Self. But from my interpretation, it's just the fact that Bill Self had somebody in the middle. I mean, there is a text message between Self that exists out there that people have tracked down and have the transcript of Bill Self asking his middleman, "Are we all good?" Referencing, did the money go through? With an answer. Yeah, that was simple. Okay, perfect. And, when Self is caught up in it and asks questions, he's got I don't know. I've got no idea. What's this text message mean? I don't know. I didn't have my phone. Well, who did? I don't know. Leave me alone. It wasn't me. Get out of here. But at LSU, you got direct transaction from the head coach's checking account going to a place that it shouldn't. It's very, smoking gun, paper trail, easy stuff for investigative people to look into and find and say, well, here's how it happened. Here's how it worked. But we'll ask Ross Dellinger.
Bishop Waldrop in the chat asks, thoughts on Nickelberry saying Will Wade hasn't talked to the team. Is he not allowed?
I would imagine that would be from
on high.
Yeah,
but why wouldn't they let him meet with his team before? Like, they just fired him. Like, most of these kids found out on Twitter. Like, why wouldn't they let him speak to them and just, say goodbye, pretty much? He can't coach them, so.
I'd imagine the legal part behind it. Mm-hmm. There's got to be some type of legal part behind it, because I don't think that nobody wants this to end like it has, but nobody wants this to end with bad blood. I think that, people understand that mistakes were made and that people push the limit, and for that, the consequences that some people are out of a job. I don't think that people want to embarrass individuals on the way out or leave them without a chance to address the team. I believe that there's a legal reason behind it why they can't get that done.
What's Mama Bear saying right now?
Nervous.
Yeah.
Just think if your son was on this roster right now and all your trust of a lot of your decision behind being here was on the message in the future sold by Will Wade. It wasn't made by anybody else. Wade was really the visionary and the messenger behind a lot of this stuff. And, all these, whether it's Adam Miller, who put out the tweet on Saturday saying that this hurts worse than 10 ACLs.
That was so sad.
Or it was just, one of those situations where, a player's mom, like Mama Bear, they knew.
Mm-hmm.
All that stuff from Wade on Friday and Saturday. So they see that stuff coming out and how they react. It's just people are nervous. People are scared. People are anxious about what the future holds on LSU's basketball roster. But, one thing that we do know, I think that there's going to be a huge turnover in these commitments. Julian Phillips, Traora, even Marvell Allen, some of these people that these guys that have committed over the last couple of weeks and have been for the last couple of months will now be given an opportunity with the turnover on coaching to get out of that letter of intent. And I expect that to happen because, we hear all the time that recruiting is about choosing the school, not the coaches. That's a good term. It's a good statement. It's fun to put out. But the majority of these decisions are made on the relationships between the individuals, between the player and coaches, between the parents and coaches, between the coach and coaches, whoever is behind the decision-making process for that prospect. It usually comes down to the individuals and, who they believe in. It's tough to, for a player. That's why it's so hard for players when coaches leave during their time on campus, because a lot of those decisions behind somebody coming to a specific school was based on that. I think about Corey Raymond, the defensive backs coach at LSU. Think about a guy like Sage Ryan, or even a guy like Jay Ward, who was recruited, sold on a vision, play at DBU. Corey Raymond's the guy that's been there for just about all of them that's come through there. He wants you to play next. And now Ward's in his senior season. Sage Ryan's in his sophomore season. And they're playing for Kerry Cooks. It's just it's one of those things that you have to deal with as a player, but it's one of those situations that, a lot of those are based on the relationship between the player and the coach.
Y'all, will we not be able to say boot up anymore?
No.
Y'all, no.
I guarantee you they're going to get rid of
over?
that. Yeah.
Get it tattooed.
Mike McCann, Will Wade cheated and has put the athletic department in serious jeopardy, so they want his ass out ASAP. Can we officially say end saying boot up now? We can, Mike.
Oh, no.
The public can. We probably won't hear.
That's awful. I didn't really think about
that.
That
was his.
I know.
Brett Dagro.
It's like you won't hear "Go Tigers" anymore either from LSU football.
What?
Like the coach wants. Like Brian Kelly's not going to walk off and end every interview with "Go Tigers."
Okay.
But fans will say it.
Yeah.
Brett Drago, how do you make a hire before knowing what the sanctions are going to be? It's a great question. I think that the NCAA will probably work with LSU to probably get those done pretty quickly, hopefully, so LSU can get that moving. PCNG, your buddy put all of LSU at risk. No respect for him. Stop saying he loved LSU. He put the program at risk. Stop defending him with everybody does it with this BS. I know you're pissed, bro. I get it. Hughes Bowden, Jordy, what are the chances that Nickelberry can keep the majority of players for the next year? Might rather him than somebody like Andy Kennedy. Maybe Nickelberry could be that guy like Lloyd was referencing. Somebody that can be a nice bridge to the future. Or somebody that could potentially work out as somebody that sticks. Who knows? Nickelberry's got a great opportunity right now. I know it's not the one that he saw. He's not the one that, he anticipated, like he said in his press conference. He never could have seen this happening in the middle of the week last week to getting this team ready as the head coach going into the tournament. But just like Tony Bedford did a couple of years ago, he'll have the chance to really, get this team prepared, coach them through adversity, and do it on a national stage. So, this is kind of how some of these stories are written. So hopefully Kevin Nickelberry, who's a great guy, who really is a tremendous person, first and foremost, has some head coaching experience. And
where's he coming from? Where did he head coach before?
Let me get you his. And
is he younger? Is he?
Yeah, he is.
He's a younger guy. I just don't know anything about him.
He had a lot to do with recruiting.
God.
Yeah, but was really big on getting Efton Reed. Was really good on Brandon Murray.
Yeah.
He was the assistant coach. He started back in '94, but he was he went to Hampton. He was also. Is he 57?
Mm-hmm.
He was the head coach at Howard
and Hampton.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not. Resume's not that impressive. 96 and 194 as a head coach.
First head coaching job was a women's job. Women's coach. As a women's coach.
Okay.
So we'll see. I don't know what LSU can do next as far as as far as the interim before the sanctions, before they know what possibly the future could look like. All right, let me pause real quick. We're going to get to Ross Dellinger here. Remember, over at Relief Med, use the promo code Jordy1, JORDY1, and you'll receive 20% off of your initial purchase over at Relief Med, RELEAF med.com. Medical marijuana is now legalized in the state of Louisiana. They've got great products over there at Relief Med, whether you're looking for tinctures, whether you're looking for oils and vapes, or whether you're looking for flour. They've got it all over at Relief Med. If you're looking to clear your head after a busy weekend or just after a weekend that had a lot of shitty news in it, get over to Relief Med today and use our promo code RELEAF med.com, RELEAF med.com. We will talk to Ross Dellinger next year on the Jordy Culotta Show. All right, personal testimony from my trip over to Johnsaw and Spillers. Shout out to my friend Dr. Chad Spillers for taking care of me, man. I had to have my front tooth, a tooth implanted on my front tooth, and it was a hell of an ordeal, but Dr. Spillers and the crew from Johnsaw and Spillers made it as easy and seamless as possible to work with and have taken the final product, and it is absolutely beautiful. Learn more online at johnsawspillers.com. Whether you're looking for Botox or you need help in any type of dentistry, whether it is dentures, night guards, if you're looking for Invisalign, if you're interested in implant dentistry like I got, you can get in touch with Johnsaw and Spillers. Online, johnsawspillers.com. 2 locations, one in Gonzales, one in Baton Rouge. Easiest way to get them, online at johnsawspillers.com. Shout out to Tom Granning from everybody over here at FM Digital Media, as he is our fuel sponsor. Whether it's fuel cards or snacks, he's keeping us going every day at FM Digital Media. If you're out on Highway 61, make sure and stop in and see him over at Go Mart. It is located in Natchez, Mississippi. It is our favorite convenience store, and it's for our guy Tom Granning, who supports us every day over here at FM Digital Media. All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show. What a busy weekend for a lot of sports writers out there, including our guy Ross Dellinger, who was on vacation in West Virginia, working on vacation. I can't imagine the amount of whiskey that was pounded Saturday night after asking Dellinger to work while he was enjoying the snow-filled West Virginia mountains. Beautiful picture Delly sent over to me on Saturday when I asked him if he could jump on for an impromptu interview on Saturday as we went live, as the news started to flow out about Will Wade and LSU basketball and then LSU football and the sanctions that possibly could be facing with that program. Ross Dellinger joins us now, fresh off vacation. I guess, can you call it vacation even though you worked, buddy? Good morning. How are you?
Good, Jordy. Yeah, it was. I only worked for a couple hours of vacation, so it was for the most part I was on vacation for the 2.5 days. So it was nice.
Were you skiing?
To get away and yeah, I did. I skied. I was a first-time skier. I fell 6 times.
That's not bad.
But in the end, I got it, and it was great. It was an awesome experience.
Steepest mountain you took on? Did they color code them over there in West Virginia? Is it a black?
Yeah.
Hit a black?
Yeah,
Blues?
I did.
Any moguls?
There's like 4 different levels. Yeah, easy, a little harder, hard, and then the most difficult. I stuck to the easy.
Okay.
And still, that one was difficult for me. So, yeah, first time on skis, it was a little scary at times.
French fried pizza, dude. That's all you got to know. You'll have a good time.
Big S's. Ross Dellinger, Sports Illustrated, joining us here. All right, Delly, take me to the front lines of what you reported on Saturday. You were the first to really kind of put the entire language out from the NCAA to LSU. When you read that report initially, what was your first reaction?
Probably that it was about as bad as people at LSU could have imagined. The number of major violations. I think it was 8 in total. 1 in football, I think 7 in basketball. That's and then of course the big thing, right, was a lack of institutional control, and that was the fear going into this a few years ago, and it's why LSU was trying to separate the football and basketball investigations into 2 separate cases and have the NCAA release notice of allegations and eventual sanctions separately, handling them separately, and that was going to happen. It was on the way to happening. Football was on the way to being done in the fall of 2019. It was pretty much complete, and there was going to be a ruling on football in spring probably of 2020 or summer of 2020. And then, of course, Odell Beckham handed out $2,000 worth of $100 bills on the Superdome field after the national championship game. And the NCAA then reopened the investigation, and they got lumped together. And when you have it lumped together like that, and you have so many major violations, and you get the dreaded lack of institutional control, and it's pretty much the worst thing to get, the worst allegation to get in a notice of allegation.
What did you read from football standpoint? How we know the fallout from basketball, and we'll get to it here shortly with Wade being ousted on Saturday. When you read the news on football, what do you anticipate?
Well, the difference, there's a few differences between the football and basketball. I mean, obviously football, I think there were 3 allegations in football compared to whatever it is, 8 or 9 in basketball. I think the football had 1 level 1, and then the other 2 were maybe a level 2 and a level 3. But the level 1 in football is a pretty serious level 1, paying $180,000 to the father of a then recruit and then turned player for not doing a job, basically. That's a serious allegation. In the second thing that's different about the 2 football and basketball is that LSU football cooperated, it seemed like, at least according to the NCAA, according to those notice of allegations, the LSU football investigation, the NCAA got better cooperation from LSU and better production of evidence and all that stuff. And then, again, the third difference here, too, is in the football part, they instituted self-imposed, sanctions, recruiting sanctions and scholarship stuff. And then, of course, the postseason ban that LSU implemented in 2020 on a COVID year when the team, was at the time, I think, like 4-5 or something like that. But so those are the big differences. I don't know what more is coming in football. I would assume that you might see a little more coming in football. The NCAA, I don't know that they're going to accept, again, the postseason ban, right, happened in a COVID year, and when LSU ended up finishing the season 5-5. I don't know. The NCAA might just lop on another postseason ban. They could, for sure. They could lop on some other scholarship and recruiting stuff too. I'd expect them to probably do, a little more than what LSU self-imposed. So, but it's going to be probably nothing compared to the impending basketball situation.
Were you surprised to see LSU accept the bid yesterday?
No, not really. It's kind of a unique, obviously, situation with all this. An interim coach, coaches usually don't get fired when their team is about to head into the NCAA tournament. So you don't see a lot of interim coaches coaching in the NCAA tournament. So that should be unique. No, but I'm not surprised. I think too much time in sports we don't think about. We think about the fans or whatever, the media or whatever. We kind of, and coaches, and we kind of forget about players. I mean, those players in that team had a pretty good season, right? And they fought all year, and the reward is an NCAA tournament. That only in major college sports, only about 50 teams get to make. So for them, you want to accept that bid and want to see what they can do. Who knows? You might get on a run and might be some kind of magical year. I'm reminded of the Mississippi State baseball season in 2018, I think, or maybe 2018, I believe, when former LSU hitting coach Andy Canizero, who was hired at Mississippi State, was fired after the first baseball series, and the team ended up going to the interim coach ended up taking the team to the College World Series. And so who knows? You never know what you can get on a run.
What could be next, in your opinion, for Will Wade? 5 level 1 violations against Wade levied from the NCAA. What do you expect the punishment to be? And do you think Wade ever coaches in the NCAA again?
Not anytime soon, because I'm sure that he will probably get a show cause. 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, I don't know. But it'll probably multiple year show cause. And, for those who don't know exactly what that is, it's a school, basically you put a coach off limits to a school hiring him or her. And if they do hire him or her, they have to present the reasons to the NCAA and a hearing and all this stuff. And usually schools don't deal with that. Don't fool with that. So it'll be, I would think it'll be a long time before Will Wade as, coaches in college again. The thing that a lot of the LSU community that I've heard about the last 3 years or 4 years or so is everybody does it kind of thing. Like, right, everybody cheats, in college basketball. And I think part of it is very true, right? That this happens a lot. And we've seen with the FBI stuff, looking into the Kansas and the Duke stuff that's come out with Zion. Like, everybody probably does do it, or most teams do it. However, it's how you do it that is important, and who does it that is important. I think Will Wade, after all that came out in 2019, when all this stuff came out and came to light in the spring of 2019, I think Will Wade even admitted, actually, and I was there for it at the SEC spring meetings in Destin, he even admitted he was a little too brazen in handling things himself. You just can't do that. And you can't be brazen about it, and a head coach can't do it, so to speak. Yes. And that's the difference. I think that's the difference in this case from a lot of others. And let me say one more thing too about this. And it was in the NOA, the timing of some of these things came after all of that came to light in the spring of 2019. So he continued to do some of this stuff, and that just, that wasn't a wise play.
Yeah, I think the 2020 allegation versus Bill Armstrong, the assistant coach, was really kind of what expedited the process. I think once Woodward got wind of that and saw that, it was just a matter of time. The first time he saw Wade and Armstrong after he read that, he fired them.
Yeah, when you get it's kind of one of the old things, right? When you stick your hand on the hot stove, and don't do it again. But they did the next year, and that's. I think many administrators around the country would probably say that Scott Woodward probably didn't have a lot of choices here if he wanted to salvage his basketball program from really, really severe sanctions. And I mean, if you keep a coach that has these allegations leveled against him and they're proven true, and that's something here that should be mentioned, right? The university will probably fight some of these. We'll want to see evidence in a hearing, and there'll be a hearing and all that stuff. But there's so many of these, right? And it does seem like the NCAA has bank statements and witness testimony. They have more. The NCAA, according to the notice of allegations, certainly has more evidence than a lot of people at LSU thought they did.
Yeah, right. That's because last week I thought my stance was, look, if they get rid of Wade, that only means that the stuff on football is bad and they're using him as a sacrificial lamb. And if the stuff on basketball gets rid of Wade, it's stuff that we don't know about. And really the most surprising part about all of that, Ross, and you can talk about this more than and better than anyone being a reporter, is that news was kept sealed, that it wasn't leaked to anyone, that nobody had the news of him paying direct deposits to a former player fiance and trying to keep people quiet. I mean, the fact that you just learned about that on Saturday morning was really as shocking as Wade being let go.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff in there that we didn't know, and I don't know that many at LSU even knew or expected to be popping up. And it not only did it pop up, but it does appear that the NCAA is quite a bit of evidence, and that doesn't bode well for things. I'm sure the basketball program will be hit with pretty severe recruiting and scholarship sanctions. Plus, I would guess, just guessing, a multiple year postseason ban situation. And as bad as all that is, if you keep the coach, it's probably way, way worse. The NCAA ends up forcing you with a show cause to fire the coach anyway, and at the end of all this.
Delly, in your relationship building with the new administration around LSU, with Woodward and everybody up here, have you gotten an idea of the benefit or just relationship between Emmert and Woodward, what it could do for LSU? I mean, I know that they share a very strong personal relationship.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they're related through marriage. I always kind of forget what it is. I think Emmert's son's married to Woodward's daughter.
Right, that's right.
Yeah. So they obviously they're close, and it's funny. I was at DC Mardi Gras up here about a month ago when 5,000 Louisianians come up here to do Mardi Gras. It's like almost a 100-year tradition started by Huey Long. It's a pretty big deal. And the king of DC Mardi Gras was Richard Lipsey, obviously the big LSU influencer and a close friend to Woodward and Mark Emmert. And lo and behold, who was at the DC Mardi Gras celebration was Mark Emmert. There with and Woodward was there and Richard Lipsey. So they are close. I don't know. Mark, I don't think gets really involved in enforcement at all. He probably stays pretty far away from that as far as he possibly can. So I would assume that it would have no bearing on this situation at all. Now, the thing that I think their relationship probably helps is maybe information getting to LSU administration early about what's going on, in the investigation and stuff. Maybe they were getting some news before others just because of that relationship. But I don't think that relationship is going to have any impact on incoming penalties and sanctions.
When do you imagine these be levied? When do you imagine that LSU finds out what the future will look and feel like for their athletic programs?
Well, nothing's done quickly with the NCAA. I think LSU has several weeks to respond in the NCAA response to LSU's responses, and then a hearing is scheduled, and then the hearing happens, and then after the hearing you get a ruling of sanctions. So it could be several months.
Delly, thank you very much for the time this morning. I know that this has taken up a lot of your time. What are your assignments for the NCAA tournament?
Well, unfortunately, I have back-to-back weddings. I have a wedding on the Sweet 16 weekend. I have a wedding on the Final Four weekend. But I will be covering. I know. Everybody's
her side or your side.
Her
side or your side.
No, my side.
Oh,
my
side. Dude. Jesus.
I know. And the funny thing is, they are friends. And both of them are in the sports world. They work in the sports world. I'm like, what are y'all doing? So,
vasectomy
season. But I will be in Pittsburgh this weekend for the opening weekend.
Okay, more snow. More snow.
Let's hope not.
Tell Pat Forty I will let Moscona know about his shot to him about the fanboy media line. I know that was aimed at Moscona, not us.
I'll pass on the message.
Tell him he got us, bro. We know. It's got to be a good feeling for Pat this morning. Good to catch up with you, Delly. Thank you, buddy.
All right, guys. See y'all.
We'll be back, Pat.
We ain't going down so quietly, Pat.
We'll cheat again.
You and your fucking head.
We'll be back cheating.
Don't you worry.
Rick Pitino on the way. What a conundrum, but what a conundrum that Pat would be in.
That's what I think LSU needs to do is find a guy that's
kind of go rogue on him.
That's actually has good relationships with the media that still cheats.
That's
Will
right.
Wade
Yeah.
it was just a little too brazen.
City Cafe brings you our conversations with Ross Dellinger, talking a little hoop there and talking some of the fallout over the weekend with the notice of allegations and the report back from the NCAA. Remember, over at City Cafe, great lunch specials every single day. Go see Squeaky Miranda, Cody Miranda, the entire crew over there. Dirk over on O'Neill and George O'Neill. Been in business for over 100 years, where good friends meet. CityCafeBR.net is where they're located. Online, if you want to check out those lunch specials pre-lunch before you get in today, you can do that all online at CityCafeBR.net. They got great brunch specials at 11 o'clock that opens up at 10 o'clock on Sundays. Check them out, CityCafeBR.net, where good friends meet. CityCafeBR.net. We'll be back with more of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Baton Rouge, be on the lookout for the first annual Maddie's Footprints Forever Quarter Marathon, 5K, and 1 mile fun run and walk, coming to Baton Rouge on Sunday, March 27th. If you're looking for more information, it's easy to get involved and register today. Get online at runsignup.com/footprintsforever. runsignup.com/footprintsforever. And be involved in this year's Maddie's Footprints Forever Quarter Marathon, 5K, and 1 mile fun run, coming to Baton Rouge Sunday, March 27th.
The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you daily by Morales Roll-Offs. Morales Roll-Offs provides dumpster rentals for residential and commercial needs in Baton Rouge and surrounding areas. Morales has roll-off dumpsters ranging from 10 yards to 40 yards to accommodate all of your disposal needs. Search online, moralesrolloffs.com. The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you by A-Bears Lawn Maintenance. Commercial or residential, A-Bears Lawn Maintenance is ready to work. A-Bears can tackle all your homeowners association requirements. Call Blake at 225-485-8022. A-Bears Lawn Maintenance.
Granning from everybody over here at FM Digital Media, as he is our fuel sponsor. Whether it's fuel cards or snacks, he's keeping us going every day at FM Digital Media. If you're out on Highway 61, make sure and stop in and see him over at Go Mart. That is located in Natchez, Mississippi. It is our favorite convenience store, and it's for our guy Tom Granning, who supports us every day over here at FM Digital Media. All right, welcome back here on this Monday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by our friends over at Go Chevrolet. Go Express Auto Sales, located on Florida Boulevard in Sherwood Forest. And then Go Chevrolet, brand new car lot out there in Laplace.
Four-wheel drive over there. No matter the car you get.
That's awesome.
Hey, Jordy, can we still jump Pat? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
We'll be back.
Why do you think Noah isn't here right now?
I know.
Yeah, right.
Pat says will never coach college basketball again.
Tell Pat get a life. Tell Pat to do something else. Like
Yeah,
find
it's
somebody else to have a hard
Over.
on.
You got it,
Like,
bro. You win.
Go
He's
suck somebody else off.
Yeah.
Coach K just retired. Go suck him off.
Yeah, he's like a dog that finally caught his tail. He doesn't really know what to do
Yeah,
with
he's
it.
like,
He's
"Oh,
like, shit. This wasn't as exciting as I thought it was going to
Holy
be.
cow.
All right, back to work, I guess. I'll do it again tomorrow. Who's his next victim?
I don't know. Who will it be?
Jordy.
I can't. Yeah, right. Maybe the
I mean,
JC show.
maybe he takes a little vacay.
Is that what Will Wade does, do you think?
Get out for a minute.
Get out.
Yeah.
Got to.
Check out.
Does he have a
Right.
buyout by any chance, or is it like
They got-
fired with
they
calls?
got him with calls.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
I mean, that was the other thing that made it so, like, I don't want
he
to say
signed his
shocking.
life
That he
over.
yeah, but that made me so confident in him. He's like, they don't have shit. I'll sign this contract. I don't care. But he really, really dug himself in a hole there.
Tom Granning, how pissed off is Brian Kelly right now? It's a good
Yeah,
question.
that's what I've been wondering too.
But I got to imagine that he was briefed on this. There's no way that he was as shocked as we were on Saturday, right? Like, I mean, at least he knew some of the things. Though, I will say that people in the administration that I talked to on Saturday evening and throughout yesterday were very surprised to see some of the new details that were in there on basketball. I mean, it was just, they were a lot like us, like, oh, shit. And there's something in there from 2020. I think when that thing hit that there was a violation, or at least an alleged violation in 2020, that was proven, like Dellenger said, right? I mean, things had to be proven, and it was proven that those conversations went down. And once they found out that it was 2020, it was, man.
So that was just the latest one? Like, he didn't do it in 2021, or we just don't have the evidence yet?
Oh, I don't know that.
I would imagine that maybe that bank
dare
account just
say
hadn't
that.
hit yet.
I don't know that. I don't know that, man.
But if the investigation's done, they're not going to keep going, are they? They got plenty.
Yes.
You don't need to pile
I
on.
don't know
Like,
if you
kick a
keep
man
on
when he's
more, man.
down.
Yeah, right.
I don't know.
Marvell Allen. It's on the books. It's fair. Did it the right way.
So they don't have anything extra on LSU football besides the Odell stuff and
Yeah.
the Vidal Alexander stuff.
Yeah, the Our Lady of the Lake stuff and the Odell stuff. It sounded like the Odell stuff just could not have happened at a worse time. I mean, like, it
He was done reading the book.
the absolute worst timing for that to happen is when that went down with Odell. And I mean, it's not that big of a deal. They got the money back. All the guys that he was giving the money to ended up going to the league. You know what I mean? Like, if we're really just kind of, if it was an isolated incident, you really just kind of like, forget about it, man. It was $2,000. He got the money back. I mean, it was Justin Jefferson, maybe the best wide receiver on the planet right now, that he was handing those hundreds to. So, I mean, even though I think John Trey Kirkland got a couple.
John Trey
Yeah.
Kirkland. He got a few hundred, but it's all right.
All right.
Sean Trey knows the right place, right time. Oh,
Yeah, this was like he was like
23 years old, bro.
Yeah.
There's some money.
Yeah. Shit.
they probably
I
spent
need
it.
it more than anybody.
My thing is they probably spent it that same night. Like it wasn't like they like
I
took
mean,
the
come
money
on,
and went by
right.
like
Bro, they did
new
not
shit.
buy a thing
Well,
that
just
night.
like I
They
mean,
invested
just
it.
like that, just like Ross. I mean, it was just. It's not necessarily the act. It's the show.
It's the lack of institutional control.
It's just
That's really
You
what it
can't be
is. What are
paying
y'all
them.
doing?
you can't be paying them from
On the
your
field.
accounts. You can't be greasing them hundreds on the field in front of the cameras,
got
bro.
caught up in
It was
the
so
moment.
awesome, though.
It was.
It
It
was.
was just
just-
the best night ever.
It was like,
mean,
good
yeah.
Lord. I mean, if they're gonna burn it down, they are torching this son of a bitch.
Can you imagine watching that? Like, God damn it, Odell
Yeah.
again. Like, what do
But
you
like,
Somebody go get Odell.
Odell?
but how are
Why?
they going
The
to
damage
control
is
him?
done. It's over.
It's over.
Like I don't understand how they could say that's lack of institutional control when like they literally can't say Odell, don't go on the field.
Well,
Odell, don't hand
Doesn't it-
Justin Jefferson
Isn't that-
2,000
isn't-
cash
Isn't that a
in
great
front of a
example
camera.
of how stressing it must be to be an administrator or
Oh
somebody
my
in
God.
compliance?
Get your
Yes.
Because
badges
you
like
can
your-
put all the protocols in place. You can put all the rules and regulations, everything. You can spell it out as much as you want. But as you're celebrating and the confetti is falling on your head and people are dancing in the streets chanting LSU, one of your most famous alums is on the middle of the field greasing the players in
Why
front of
not?
the cameras, in front of the world, not making, I mean, just a stack, a wad of money Looks like they're going to the strip club, bro. I mean, just looks like the night is just starting.
The strip club was coming to them.
No doubt.
And he's just making it rain in the middle of the field on LSU football players for the NCAA, who is breathing down LSU's neck. Just, I mean, no!
When I was watching that, that's what I was saying. But it was like, we just want a natty. Like, who cares?
I mean, as high as we are right now. No! What a buzzkill!
Like, Odell, I know we went over a lot of stuff. I didn't think we had to talk about this part. Like, this is
not this, right?
Nobody told me I couldn't do it. Like,
this is like exhibit A.
No, you're the test case for this now. Okay, so when you win a national championship, let's remember not to pay the players on the field.
Right.
I mean, he was one of three people they invited back.
1-3.
There's nothing new about football, right?
No, I guess there's just
right. I know there was new about basketball. Is there anything new about football that we don't know yet that's going to surprise us?
I don't think so.
Jeez.
WMA at Pell's Gang tweets into the show. Damn, even Jordy turning on Wade this morning. Sad day becomes sadder. Did I turn? I mean, have I turned on Will Wade?
No.
I mean, like, how have I turned
just been
on
stating
Will
the
Wade?
fact.
It's such a great video.
I know. I am not turning on Will Wade at all. I think Will Wade is a friend, and I love what he's done to LSU basketball. But I think
all good things come to an end.
What happened? Like Dellenger said, I mean, there was not a lot of decision making behind it. They didn't leave there wasn't a lot of a choice to it. Mm-hmm. And, that's not because I'm turning on him. That's just because, shit, man, that's how bad it was. It's where it is. And, it sucks for the program. Sucks for Wade. Sucks for the access to this show. I mean, really? It's shitty. But from what LSU was presented and where they are as far as, what could be the possibility of sanctions and penalties, like Woodward and Tate said on Saturday. I mean, just they can't protect it anymore. It's their responsibility to protect the brand of LSU and LSU basketball, and what they're staring at and what they're reading, something's got to give. And it was Wade, man.
So do you think they didn't know how bad it was? Like,
no,
even while Wade was keeping, yeah.
I know they didn't. I mean,
because the teams
I
usually
heard
work
Saturday night. I mean, when they saw the 2020 accusation and the 2020,
under my watch
violation under Woodward's watch, it was over. It was over. And even the new information, I think, would have cost him. Like, it didn't necessarily just because the 2020 incident happened that he got ousted. I think the 2020 incident was more of a kick in the nuts. I mean, it was more of a slap in the face to Woodward just because of the parameters that they had outlined of what was expected of the behavior and representation as LSU's coach. And while it wasn't Wade, it was his top assistant, Bill Armstrong. Wade's the head coach.
So he was finally learning, though. He got Bill Armstrong to do it.
Yeah.
Just took a little too long. Do you think he goes full, White Goodman, or does he get, in phenomenal shape in his time off?
Like Sean Payton?
Right. Or does he balloon? Like White Goodman in dodgeball when you see him at the end and he's just covered in chips.
I wonder if he's...
Two ways to cope.
I wonder if he runs today.
Treadmill. He can't be out in public.
No, he can't be in public.
No way.
And his poor wife is probably doesn't want him at the house right now. Like, my account or that money? Oh, well, damn it. Thought it was mine.
Crazy, man. Feel the steel. Steel Henry is our roofer. Know who's on your roof today. Get in touch with Steel. He's over at Hargrove Roofing. 318-229-7266. 318-229-7266 is the official roofer of the Jordy Culotta Show. That is Steel Henry over at Hargrove Roofing. Know who is on your roof over at Hargrove. They're working all of South Louisiana is Steel. You can get in touch with him. He is over in Lafayette, but works the entire South Louisiana corridor. So if you're listening to this, he can help you out. Get in touch with Steel. The direct number is 318-229-7266, 318-229-7266. 7666 is how you get in touch with Steele over at Hargrove Roofing. Get in touch with them today. They have a great website that you can find, hargroveroofing.com, to learn about some of their services like metal roofs, roofing repairs, slate roofs, even terracotta roofs they can help you out with. hargroveroofing.com, or call Steele directly, 318-229-7266. 318-229-7266 is the number for Steele Henry. Make sure you know who's on your roof. It is our guy, Feel the Steel. Steele Henry of Hargrove Roofing.
Call us free.
All right, so some other news from the weekend. It did exist outside of LSU basketball and Will Wade. And look, you got a little bit from Dellenger there on the football standpoint. It's just going back to the stuff that they dealt with Vidal Alexander and the payments being made to his father and Odell Beckham. So you'll wait and see what happens on sanctions there or possible penalties. But the case being lumped together as lack of institutional control on both football and basketball is not that's not what you want. That is obviously the worst case scenario
It's not what you want.
For the athletic administration. What you do want if you're a Tampa Bay fan is Tampa to go back to Tampa, as Tom Brady did announce over the weekend that he was coming back to the NFL for season number 23, and he's going to do it with the Tampa Bay Bucks. I read this news and thought, yeah, well, I mean,
we knew
how
this
obvious
was going to happen, yeah.
I mean, like,
Right?
What have you been waiting on, Tommy? I mean,
Giselle's blessing.
you think?
Something.
I mean, what was it that made
was tired of
Tom
her shit.
leave and come back so quickly?
Well, I mean,
being
he
a
made
dad.
that the reason, too, right? His
Dude,
family.
but I mean, like,
he put that out there.
Tommy, we told you that.
Yeah.
I mean, this was a mindless decision, and not only that, I mean, Brady playing at an MVP caliber at 44 years old. I mean, for him to come back, does Gronk come back? Gronk's gonna be back.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I think so.
For sure.
But do you think this time is the last ride for Tom Brady?
Who knows? Why would you
I
even
mean,
guess?
what do you mean? Like this is gonna be the last year?
Right.
No.
But it'll sign a 2-year deal.
Yeah, I could see. Oh, I thought. I thought that like he was going to play 3 more years in Tampa. I thought it was going to be 3 years, get to 45. Because even like when this was being questioned a couple years ago, like
He was adamant.
he was like, I want to play till I'm 45. I want to play till I'm 45. And it was like, okay, well, I mean, you've got the deal to be lined up to play until you're 45. And then seeing by the way that he won a Super Bowl at 43, he had an MVP type season at 44. He won this MVP. No, Aaron Rodgers won
Aaron
the
Rodgers
MVP.
did.
But he played at an MVP caliber both seasons in Tampa. It was like, no way he's going to even fathom thinking about walking away from this.
Man, he's going to be 45 when the season starts.
Yeah.
Do you think this is because he didn't get to retire his way? That he's
Possibly.
like, all right, you took my story. You know what I'll do? I'll come
Zimbabwe
back."
heist, the Brett Favre method.
Yes.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, you're not going to tell me how to leave. I'm leaving on my terms, and I'm going to leave. I just hope he doesn't fall off like Favre did in his last year in Minnesota, where Favre became old in front of
Right.
our eyes. And
Like
I thought
Russell Westbrook.
And I thought there was a couple of instances late in the season where Tom, for the first time, really looked
Tom first time.
like the old guy out there. And that, you rarely are ever to say that about Brady. I mean, he's never really looked old. He's never looked, sometimes when he runs, but he's always looked slow.
Sometimes when he runs.
Slow.
I mean, even when he was,
Certainly
even when
he ran
20
a 5 ever.
Even when he was 25,
so-
he couldn't.
Forever.
he ran a 5 ever.
But then he ran more in his career this year than he ever has. He said he's never felt better. So he has obviously his little training guru that he has, and obviously I would imagine he is still in shape. I don't think he let it go.
TB12.
Yeah, I think he's still doing all that stuff. He probably was doing carpool, hanging out with his family. Did it for 2 weeks, and was like, "Is this really all y'all do?
Do I
Is this
really
all
want
there
to do
is?
this?
Yeah.
Like,
This is what I thought I missed." Like, absolutely no. It's way more fun when I have something to do. Like, I miss missing y'all already.
you know who's really pissed off right now? Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
All the
God.
attention's off of him.
Right.
He had the
Good.
attention for probably a half a day, 12 hours. And
Thank
then
you.
Russell Wilson got traded. That took his attention. And now Tom Brady's back. He's like, fuck, what do I have to do? Do I have to like buy a team? Do I have to buy the Packers now?
You go get immunized again. You'll get all the attention you want.
Well, then Devontae Adams just came out and said that he's not playing for the franchise tag, so things just getting worse for A-Rod.
Oof. Good for the only good news, I guess, is for Ben Roethlisberger. He gets to have his own Hall of Fame retirement now. Because if Tom Brady was going to be there, it's going to be all about Tom. And now Booger Ben gets to go have his own.
What'd you call him?
Booger Ben. He's just greasy.
He is a grease ball.
What? It's not me. It's him. It's my fault.
Do you think Ben Roethlisberger's attractive, Katie?
No. Oh, geez.
Because there's a bathroom over there that he'll guard for you.
Yeah.
I just was laughing at
might come in.
Ben, that's all.
Are we talking about Roethlisberger?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's gone, though.
His own, he gets his Hall of Fame moment now.
Yeah.
Because Tom was going to dominate that
Sure.
class. And now Ben gets to have his little statue. I wonder if he goes long hair or short hair.
For Roethlisberger?
Yeah, on the bust. You probably don't know what the bust is. Like, what y'all talking about, bust?
I'll show you bust.
Yeah. No, your head.
Easy, Ben. Easy. Ben did bust his head wide open when he was a rookie, didn't he, on that motorcycle?
On the motorcycle, yeah.
That's right. Daylight savings time got everybody screwed up?
Hate it.
Really?
Yes.
I don't know where I like, because I like the more sunshine. I like the fact that it does not get dark until later.
But it's not normal. This isn't.
It's not normal. It's not normal. But the days go by so fast, man. I mean,
in this time, when they're longer.
Yeah. Well, I thought
you lost an hour.
I know, but no, you spring ahead, so you're jumping.
So weird.
Like at 2:00 on Saturday morning or Sunday morning, it became 3 a.m.
Yes. Back in the day when it was the other one, are we in? So we're no longer in daylight savings time.
So you fall back and spring forward.
Yeah.
This is not the normal time. This is what they changed.
Right.
Yeah.
Except if you're in Colorado or Arizona.
I'm glad you asked.
But not even all of Arizona.
Right.
That's it.
Daylight savings time was explained, and I looked into it on Sunday. I got relief meted up on Saturday, and I wanted to find out what the hell's going on.
I don't want to read about basketball
I was up at 2 a.m. On Saturday doing nothing other than just mind racing, numb just to the news of the day, and saw the actual skip ahead, the phone happened, go from 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. right in front of my face. So I thought,
was it weird?
Wow, man, that was pretty crazy to witness, right? Right in front of your face. What is what is going on with daylight savings? So I found I fell into a Google hole on just what the fuck is daylight savings time? Right. So Time magazine explains it. The United States first adopted daylight savings time in 1918 as a way to conserve energy during World War I, following the lead of both England and Germany when choosing exactly when to make the switch. Officials were looking for an hour that could easily disappear into wreaking havoc on people's schedules across the nation, and since no Amtrak trains departed New York City on Sundays at 2 a.m., losing that hour seemed a little less consequential than any other, says Time magazine.
That's bizarre.
The United States did not stick with daylight savings time after 1918, partially because farmers opposed it. But it did resurrect the tradition during World War II, and Congress formalized the practice in 1966 with the Uniform Act, which also created time zones, which I did not find out. This is a lot of overthinking happening in the 60s,
100%.
Yeah, it's dumb.
How far, how many rooms did they get in where they were like, we're still talking about this daylight savings time? And it got to enough people this is a good idea. And the pushback had to be immense. And then for some reason, they were like, let's make it the whole time. We're actually going to stick with this. We're trying to mess with time. What is anything sacred? No, obviously not.
Exactly.
And America's based around time. That's all everybody cares about here. You can always be late. It's so dumb.
It is. I agree.
I hate time.
I mean, that is my...
Time's like
it's a fickle bitch. Always late for school. Who cares? It starts when it starts.
Yeah, I show up when I get here.
The show starts at 7-ish.
Southern Eyes poll question of the day. Remember, 25% off when you mention the Jordy Culotta show on the Southern Eyes Center poll question of the day on do you like daylight savings time?
No.
Simple yes or no. Get on there and vote. Make sure that you go see Dr. Annie Shaw over at Southern Eye Center on Jefferson Highway. Beautiful office over there. Great selection of sunglasses. Mention the Jordy Culotta Show. Get 25% off as you can find that there. This guy, Greg Peterson, in the chat, talking about Will Wade's friendship and how I've turned my back on him. I mean, this guy is like dealing with a high school female, bro.
You feel like you've turned your back on Will Wade? I don't.
I do not at all.
I don't feel that way
I do not at all. And I mean, this guy is trying to make up this storyline where, I mean, it's just, I was put into a text message with him, with this guy, Greg Patterson.
How?
Because I have a mutual friend with him. And like since Saturday, he has been texting me these like crazy ex-girlfriend type text about how I've turned my back on Will Wade and you're not a true friend and you're changing your tone on. And I'm like, first off, bro, I don't even know who you are. Second off, I don't even know what you're listening to. Listen to the show. Nobody's bailing on Will Wade and the friendship. I've spoken to Wade over the last 2 days. He understands where my loyalty lies as far as the friendship goes. But if you think that my friendship is going to get in the way of talking about what has happened here, then, I mean, you don't understand what we're trying to do, what we're doing every day. I mean, it sucks that it happened. I hate it for my friend. But as far as what Scott Woodward's job is to do, when he looked at the facts, there was really nothing that could save Wade. What could Wade have done to save his life at LSU? Tell me. I mean, there's nothing out there that he could have said, hey, let me do this to get this done. I mean, his actions cost him his job. He understands that. As a friend, I'm here for you. I support you, but I understand it's understandable on why the decision was made. I don't know what else to say, man. Greg, I know that you have your feelings hurt. I mean, look at this. Look at the capital letters. You are not his friend. You have turned your back on him. Greg, I talked to him last night. It didn't sound like we were not friends. And I guarantee you, he's not as juvenile at looking at this like some high schooler, like over friends, and you're not his friend. I'm his friend, man. I'm here for him. There's nothing that I can do for him to save his job.
This is the funniest conversation.
I mean, like,
I am his friend. No, you're not. I am his
this,
friend.
this guy, bro.
Greg, do you want to be his friend? We can put you in touch. Jesus.
Good Lord. I mean, you need therapy, bro. You need a friend.
Greg Petey Peterson.
You need somebody to talk to. This is comical. I mean, the text messages. I had to block the guy. I had to block him. I'm like, bro, I don't even know who you are. Leave me alone, man. Like, quit texting me. You're not his friend. All caps. You call yourself a friend. You've turned your back on. Like, Greg, get a friend. Get a hobby, bro. I mean, like,
talk to us about daylight savings time.
Jesus.
Explain it to us. It's your assignment for the week.
The first recruit of Will Wade's class just decommitted. Devin Reed.
Yeah.
17 hours ago.
What's that, from Oak Hill?
Oak Hill, yeah.
Oak Hill Academy.
This is going to be a long couple years.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. I mean, and not only that, what was going to be next year.
Every fucking time with LSU. Every time something cool is about to happen.
What was going to be
something cool
next year.
Not in 2019.
Yeah, and so that's why we do it. We do it big.
Yeah.
We're gonna step our own dicks. I can guarantee it. But the times we don't, it's awesome.
We did step on our own dicks that night, too.
Yeah, couldn't help it.
Greg, slow the train on telling someone he needs therapy. Greg, from somebody that's in therapy, you are a prime candidate for therapy. You need somebody to talk to, buddy.
Speak on this.
I mean, like, go talk to somebody. For God's sakes.
Greg hates Dune. Cody Boudreaux with the super chat.
Cody. Always
Let's
coming
not pile
in
on
the
Craig.
comment,
He's
really.
going through it.
All right, so have a good Monday out there, man. We appreciate you liking, sharing. Didn't get to a lot of the news outside of the Will Wade stuff today, but LSU gets a 6 seed. They'll open up with Iowa State. Ross Dellinger was talking a little bit about the decision of LSU playing that game and rewarding the student athletes for their season. They really did have a 20-plus win season and a good run. They deserve the chance to play in the tournament. They'll do it under Kevin Nickelberry coming up later this week versus Iowa State. So LSU goes into this field of 68 with a 6 seed. Deshaun Watson to the Saints looked like that was some big news over the weekend, and something that very much looks like it could happen, right? Like the Saints are definitely in the discussions for Watson after a couple of teams have made the play from the news over the weekend that Deshaun Watson will not face any criminal charges, as that was discussed in a Houston courtroom, and Watson was speaking about it for the first time over the weekend. And since then, some rumors have popped up, including 2 in the NFC South. New Orleans and Carolina Panthers have already reportedly made offers to the Texans. That according to the NFL Network. Other teams have become involved as well. The Texans are expected to grant permission to Watson to negotiate and see if he can't land a deal with a couple of those squads. Nick Underhill, who we very much trust in reporting the New Orleans Saints news, he quote tweeted one of the tweets from the weekend of explaining Watson and New Orleans' basic interest with one another, and confirming by stating that he doesn't know what could be given up as far as trade capital, but he does know that the Saints are in discussions with the Texans as a possible landing spot for Watson. Put that on the poll, Wood. How do you feel about that if you're a New Orleans Saints fan?
Oh, the controversy.
Would you be all in with Deshaun Watson as the New Orleans Saints quarterback? Is he looks like a possible landing spot for Watson in New Orleans, as some of the reports have come out here over the last 48 hours with Watson, as we said, not facing any criminal charges with the 23 allegations.
So is he I'd imagine in the clear with the NFL?
Criminally. I don't know about the NFL status.
That's what I'm saying. Roger seems to get himself in these conversations.
And you're still open to civil liability, which, I don't think that the NFL looks at, quite. I don't think we know that the NFL doesn't look at quite as harshly as a criminal conviction.
You should just go to Las Vegas, where everything he was doing is probably legal.
Sure. Or New Orleans, depending on the time of night. Where does that hour go? It's just gone?
Well, yeah.
Gone forever.
Gone forever?
It's off the clock.
We get it back in the fall.
Oh, what a reward.
How about LSU women's basketball, too? 3 seed.
3 seed.
In the
top
tournament.
16. Open up against Jackson State.
Next men's head coach.
On Saturday.
I'd be all in.
Kim Wilkie.
I'll take it.
Be all in.
Yeah.
Just
That's
let her
very
coach
exciting.
both.
Could she coach both?
Could she coach both at the same time? No chance.
What's the schedule? Would she be able to be at both games?
That would be amazing.
No way.
They'd have to play double headers.
They would just practice against each other.
Caught little Jay in a homework fib last night.
Oh, somebody's like that daddy.
So today is Pi Day,
Yeah.
right? So everybody's selling. Lloyd, you know the facts behind Pi Day?
It's 3.14.
Okay.
That's all I know.
What is it the measurement of?
It's something about a circle.
Square root,
Okay. Not bad.
Whatever,
Yeah.
whatever
Something
it
about a
is.
circle.
Stewie, the student over there, sounds like he's struggling more.
I hate math. I hate math. Don't put me in it,
Something about a
because
circle.
anything about math, I'm out.
Me either. We used
So-
to have the kid in class that could remember all the numbers of pi. It's like, you're just memorizing it. You're not impressing anybody.
Right.
This is just it's like me saying the alphabet.
So we have, we do that kind of the week on, week off with Jay, and it's my week, and we're finishing up the week, and he'll catch the bus this afternoon, and his mother will pick him up there, and that'll start her week. So next Monday, we'll pick him up from the bus stop, and he'll be with us. So he's been with us all week. Last night, putting him down. Sunday, great weekend. Spent all the time in the gym playing basketball. We watched a movie last night. Have a good family weekend. And he showers. He's jumping into bed, and we're about to kneel down, say our prayers. And I'm kind of looking at him, and I'm like, "What's up?" And he's like, I can tell he's stressing.
He's been thinking about this.
He's stressing. He's like, I forgot that I had a project due tomorrow.
Oh, my God.
And I'm like, huh?
The most
like,
dreaded thing you can
Yeah.
hear.
He's like, I totally forgot. I said, well, first off, buddy, no lying here, okay? It's all good. We're screwed, right? Like it's in the open. Like you got a project due in about 8 hours here, and we don't even have the poster board yet.
We're going to bed.
Right? Like, I mean, like Walmart's our only option right now. So I'm pissed at you for that, but we're going to be all honest here, bro. Did you forget about it? No, you break down and cry. You know what I mean?
No,
like
straight to the tears.
Just, you know what I mean? Just kick.
Gotta go straight to the tears.
Right. Just went straight to the tears. So you kind of punted. So I said, look, here's the deal, bro. We got two options. I'm sending you to school tomorrow, and you're telling your teacher the reason why I don't have my project is because I told my dad that the project was not due until last night. I said, now a little bit on it is on me. I need to be checking this parent portal that's available, knowing that these things exist.
Parent portal.
You do.
Yes, you do.
They put homework in
But
there.
I trust his word. I trust his
Yes.
word too much.
Yeah,
They
because
put
you
it
don't
all
want to
in
check
there.
it either. That's
Trust
basically
his-
homework for you.
No, like I mean, if he doesn't have homework, if he says no, then I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
well,
no
no,
homework.
We don't have homework.
You wanna watch a movie?
Exactly.
You can play basketball.
Go outside, sit down, watch film. We got film anyway from Sunday, buddy. I said we got two options, bro. I said I'm gonna send you to school tomorrow, and you're gonna have to explain to your teacher on why it's not done. And I could tell that was not going to happen because she had obviously, like every day last week, was like, make sure we're doing our Pi Day projects, right?
Right.
Like, is everybody going to be ready for Monday? I said, how many times did she take? I'm saying minimum 3, Jay. And he was like, oh, every day.
Yeah,
Like,
5 days a
right,
week.
absolutely.
It's probably a big project.
Absolutely. Or I can wake you up when I wake up, which is at 4:30 in the morning, and we can knock this thing out, bro. And we can follow the rules, get this deal done. I'll go to the store, get the deal, get the markers, get the poster board. We'll come home and we'll do a nice project about some of the facts about Pi Day, dude.
This could be a fun thing.
So he's like, I'm in. So I go in there this morning, wake him up, 4:30, bro. He's in a great mood, kind of knowing that he kind of got a little get out of jail free card. And it was good little father-son bonding before he went into school this morning. We started a fire at about 4:45 this morning.
Aww.
Did our Pi Day project.
So you got it done.
We got it done, dude.
That's
And I got to
amazing.
say, man, I was pretty impressed. I added a little bit of help there. Might want to color that pie over here, but change the color up.
Did you take a photo of it?
I did not take a
Aw,
photo
man.
of it. I was hoping.
But
that
what
maybe
was
Kelly
the
would have.
what was the assignment?
So like you need the project was the pie sign was the centerpiece. And then they were looking for colorful, creative ways on describing some of the facts about Pi Day. So like all you needed to do
Could
was
at
like
least
it was
this out
a-
to
Man,
Ryan
I might have
Golden.
had Cooper's
it was a
leftover.
Greek
You should've called me.
symbol, the number, the day, the date. You know what I mean? Just kind of using it, and just kind of being colorful. I mean, it really took 30 minutes. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
I probably could have just passed one over to you.
Next time, I really appreciate.
You
that.
better hope his
Dude.
kid, his teacher doesn't watch the show.
Oh my god.
He's like, Culotta, you cheated
well,
on
they
your
did
project,
it.
huh?
They did it.
No, we
They
got it
didn't
done.
cheat.
We got it done.
They did it.
We got it done. Greg Peterson, let's hear the almighty Jordy Culotta make the prediction on now who gets the job. Greg, we're just predicting on who your therapist is going to be, buddy. That's all we're predicting, man. Because who's next on this job? Who knows? Who knows at this point? Got to wait to see what the sanctions come out.
You could have slapped a pizza together, like put a pizza on the poster board, like a pizza pie. Just trying to think of different things that how you could get away with it without really doing anything, because when you're crunched for time,
Just order pizza for the
order
class.
pizza
at
for
that
the class,
point.
and they've like Jordan's project was awesome.
Yes.
You had the best project.
Take out a slice that's 3.14% of this circle.
Noah, did y'all get the win yesterday? Second place. Noah's little brother was in the AAU gym.
Nice.
How do you play? Good.
Yeah.
Wait, have you been busted as a parent helping your son with anything like homework related? Obviously,
I'm
statute of
not.
limitations.
I'm not.
Have you ever helped that much? You're like, ooh, I might be doing this for him.
Never.
Katie,
Yes.
ever
sure.
still?
No, now they do. I mean,
When's the last paper you wrote?
no, all the stuff they do now is at school. Like they don't really have take home projects.
I wonder if I could
Thank
pass.
God.
Well, you're in the-
I
you're
wonder
in
if I could pass a 4-year curriculum at Episcopal if I took it straight up.
I couldn't.
There's no way.
No
I could.
chance.
There's
Not
no
the
way I
math.
could.
I
No,
know 100%.
do
There's no way I
math.
could.
I look at Sophie's math and I'm like,
There's no
let's
way
call
I
your
could.
dad.
Yeah.
Like I'm not even gonna attempt this.
Well, you're in the realm of no more like construction
No.
paper, whatever projects, but they're gonna start bringing home like, hey, I need help with this book report.
And we
I
all
need to
feel
write.
dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We all feel dumb.
because
The adults.
My parents have.
I mean, like, are you smarter than a fifth grader?
No.
Could you pass Episcopal's curriculum over the next 4 years? No.
I probably wouldn't pass math, but I could probably do like the other curriculum.
What are we learning about?
The rest of it.
Which fourth grade?
Fifth grade.
Fifth grade? What are we learning?
Geography.
We did our capitals.
Capitals, coach.
Yeah.
That's why I was
Good
blazing
there.
through those
A lot of
capitals.
capitals.
Good thing that wasn't a time test.
State capitals for 100, please, Alex.
Multiplication and division I can still do. But are we past that?
Geography, capital, a lot of that during social studies. That's where you are in history. Science is dealing with like biology, chlorophyll.
More like borophyll.
See, science would get me. I don't know. Are we talking about like atoms and like neutrons and positive? What is
Yeah,
it?
all
Neutrons,
those things.
electrons.
Yeah.
Oof.
The basics.
Gross.
Gross.
I know.
I wish I could learn it though. I need a fresh start. I don't even know like subject verb agreement.
Oh,
I know.
Me either,
and
though.
I was a writer.
Wow, are you an
know.
English major?
No, but that's what I did. I was sports information. Like I wrote articles and I've done like for years. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, English was my
Lord.
thing.
Just
and I feel
writing.
dumb now.
Just writing.
What's the definition of a preposition phrase?
Preposition is like of. That's all I really know. Those words. I'm telling you, it's unbelievable. I'm like, I'm not very good at writing.
What's an
but
adjective?
It's like run. But that's what I'm saying.
Is that
What's
not an adverb?
No, that's like
Yeah, verb.
verb.
Like run.
Adverb like modifies the verb.
So
he's
run
like-
fast.
Right. He ran quickly.
Okay.
But I think that's something else. That's like a adverb. Like there's some way when it's behind the actual verb doing the action, it's something else.
Yes.
Like what the? Why are there all these
came up with all
rules?
this shit?
Why?
Y'all
the
thought
rules?
about this way too much.
Yeah, they really did.
And that's where I got lost. Like when you used to have to diagram the sentence. You remember like drawing the spaceship?
Yes.
And you would put like the
I used to love that.
subject and verb. I would just be
There
like,
he is.
who's doing what
Though.
here?
Oh, Dixie Normus is back. Where you been, Dixie Normus?
Time change got her.
All right, have a great Monday. Make sure and stay tuned in. Mic'd Up will originate from in studio 11 a.m. Where he will recap the LSU baseball weekend. We didn't talk a lot about the LSU baseball
Didn't
weekend.
mention it once.
we didn't.
Tigers roll. As I'd imagine you'd be talking some LSU baseball. Definitely going to be talking some LSU baseball this morning with Mic'd Up coming up here at 11 a.m. Also, the field of 68 is set. Tigers are in. 6th seed. They'll open up Iowa State in the Midwest region coming up later this week. We will keep you updated. Make sure you check out that Ross Dellinger conversation from this morning as Delly was given the latest on LSU basketball and football and what the anticipation of the weekend's news could mean for the athletic program.
And how do people sign up for our bracket?
Sign up for the bracket. Email Katie. And Katie.
I think Jack actually took it over.
Really?
But we'll figure it out. Yeah.
Okay, so email
Yeah, he didn't want
Katie
me to
and
run
Jack.
my poll. He wanted to do the ESPN one.
Okay.
Apparently that one's better.
All right.
I trust him.
I think he
Beautiful.
linked it. Did he not put it out?
We will.
Maybe
Stay
so.
stay involved on our
Okay.
social media. We will have that link sent out to you
Yes.
for our bracket challenge over here at the Jordy Culotta Show. Make sure and get that bracket filled out. We will have your winnings announced at some point before the bracket challenge expires. But it'll be cool. Thank you
An
for
English lesson from
In
Lloyd.
English, yes.
thank you
Got
for thank you for being involved here this morning. Like, share, comment. We will be back with you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Make sure and tune in to Mic'd Up coming up at 11 o'clock this morning on the Mikey Montook Mic'd Up YouTube channel. Have a great day.
When is the next time you get to look at the parent portal, like for homework? We should all take a gander and see
Yeah.
really
Every day
how.
it's available.
No, you can do it
every
right
day.
now.
Okay, let's see. Let's find an assignment for the week and see if we could even come close to knowing how to help.
Okay.
Fun.
Fun.
It's fun for people who don't have to do
We'll
this
do
with their
that.
kids all the
You know
time.
what? We'll do that on Friday for next
Next
week
week.
when we get little Jay back, and then
Lesson plan.
Yeah.
we'll get it done.
We should all
That's
do
a
is
great
we
idea.
should all turn them in and see if the teacher will grade them and be like, okay, these people are actually stupid. Katie Elligood. Oh God.
Jordan Culotta, please hang back. I don't know what's happened to you over the last couple of days, son. You have gone from a pretty smart kid to just very unintelligent, man. I don't know if something's going on or no. That's actually my dad's coworkers are doing my homework for me. Perfect.
Jordan, are you staying with your dad again?
All right, have a good day. Like and share. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Pi Day. Happy
Pi
Pi
Day.
Day. Happy Pi Day.
Not so happy. What's daylight savings time today?
Ugh.
First, it doesn't count on Saturday. It hits on Monday.
Daylight.
Still love you, Will.